also want to say huge trigger warning for this. This question is very much about like sexual assault. So just huge trigger warning.
Yes. And the author identifies as she, her.
Yes.
So, hey, Allison and Gabby, I've been single for almost 2 years now, and I thought that it's about time I went back on the dating scene because I do miss going on dates and dressing up. However, I had a bad experience with a Friends with Benefits before where they filmed me without my consent. I already reported it to the police and was even sharing it to his friends. I had no idea he was capable of that, as he always acted friendly. I was truly appalled and erased myself from Tinder and other dating apps. But more than that, I was shocked that none of his friends said anything and was even cheering him on. The text that I saw really took a toll on me. I'm already a very shy person, but this made me even more wary of guys and even afraid to talk to most of them now, because even if they're super friendly, I never know what they're actually thinking. With COVID, I hardly get to meet new people because everything is online and the restrictions here are quite tight. So my most viable option right now would be dating apps. I genuinely thought I was over the whole situation until I thought of the possibility that people I meet might have seen me in a compromising position. Even when I'm outside and people look at me, my friends and family would jokingly say, "Hey, they're looking at you. They probably think you're pretty," when in reality, I'm just panicking inside, thinking they recognize me from a video, and I avoid all eye contact. I'm so afraid of meeting new people because of this, because they could either recognize me, not just potential partners, but new friends, or they could pull off the same stunt that Friends with Benefits did by acting nice and friendly while they're talking behind my back and talking and sharing videos of me without my consent. I know that not all guys are the same, but the fact that it's possible really scares me. How do I get over this fear that by putting myself out there again, I might meet people who are friends with my ex-friend with benefits and probably saw me in a video or heard rumors about me? I've talked to friends about this before, and I know that moving forward, I can always open up to my partner about this trauma and work it out, but I just can't get over the initial step of dating again. What are your thoughts on this? Much love from a fan in Singapore.
First of all, that is incredibly fucked up. If you know someone or if you are friends with someone who is sharing videos like this person from Singapore talking about how the friends didn't say anything or didn't tell this person that what they were doing was both illegal, immoral, fucked up, horrible, rapey, terrible, you are a bad person. Like, you need to blow that shit up. 1. 2, I am so sorry this happened to you. This is like the most not okay. I think obviously you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to be over it, and I really don't think you have to be. I think the paranoia might be misplaced, but I also, in terms of like people recognizing you, but I completely understand like why this would be incredibly traumatizing and why even after 2 years you might not be ready to put yourself out there. I hope you're in therapy. I hope you have a therapist that you can talk to. As I know you talk about opening up to your partner about trauma and working out, but like, I really hope there's a professional or someone that you are speaking to about this too. Yeah, this is just like the worst. Like, I want to validate for you that this is like the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I think like culturally, I don't know how therapy is viewed in Singapore, and I don't know how readily available it is. But I know that a really popular book on trauma is called The Body Keeps the Score. And so I would recommend maybe just doing, if therapy isn't an option, doing some bibliotherapy on trauma, and just like, because one of the things that about trauma is like there's a lot of physiological responses, right? So it's not just in your mind, your body is also reacting to things. And I think that like kind of the more knowledge that you can have about trauma responses, the more you can understand what you're going through. I think just really piggybacking off of what Gabby was saying, in that like the fact that like you have all of these fears is completely normal.
Yes.
I think you have to go at your own pace, but I also think it's really admirable that you got into a place where you want to try again.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just need to do so in a gentle way and with communication. I think it could be hard in the dating world to know when to bring up this kind of stuff with a partner. But I think that my suggestion would be to not share this with somebody until you feel relatively comfortable and safe with them. And then also to not have a sexual relationship with anybody that you're dating until you've already talked about this. I feel like this is something that you will want to talk to somebody about before engaging in like anything other than kissing, just to feel safe, just for them to know your backstory. And I would be totally understandable if you want to take things slow physically, for them to understand that the reasoning behind this. I really feel like this is one of those things that it's great that you're talking to your friends about, because I think that even though you did absolutely nothing wrong at all, these kinds of situations can lead someone to feel shame. And a lot of times being able to talk about it more can sort of like help you work through that shame, because again, the thing is like consensual sex is a normal act.
Yeah.
Like what's not normal is what is like complete invasion of your privacy and all of it. I just mean like in terms of like this fear of people having seen the video or having, you know, I think that maybe working through some stuff about your feelings about being seen as a sexual being and kind of coming to terms with like that's not an inherently bad thing or an inherently dirty thing. And like obviously the invasion of privacy was.
That's what, yeah.
Also keeping that in mind, like, okay, so let's say somebody did see this. If they were to judge me based off of that, is that someone I would even want in my life?
Right. Someone saw it and didn't know the backstory and they were judging you. That's also not someone that you would want in your life.
Exactly.
I want to also recommend, there's a YouTuber named Chrissy Chambers. She's part of a couple, Bria and Chrissy. Chrissy went through something entirely similar. She had a ex or a guy record her without her consent, and she took the case to court and she won. And so you should watch Chrissy's videos about this if it's not triggering for you. It might be really, really helpful. If you look up Bria and Chrissy, they have a lot of videos about revenge porn and a lot of work that they've done on revenge porn.
Yeah, and that's that interesting thing of like what is triggering and what is helpful, you know, because like sometimes seeing that like your experience has been experienced by a bunch of other people and people that you look up to and are, you know, admire, and like that they went through this, you know, and that it hasn't ruined their lives and they have been able to maintain relationships since then. Like I think like depending on where you are in your healing, that can really be encouraging and helpful too.
Yeah. And also, I want to take apart the word revenge porn, which I think has been used to sort of like couch what happens, which is this is sexual assault. Like, it's just purely sexual assault. Calling it revenge porn makes it seem like it has any place next to porn as anything. And it doesn't. It's truly like a sexual assault situation. I completely understand why it would make you wary of guys, especially because this one, like, you didn't see any red flags with, like, that he was just like a nice person. Can I speak to men for a second? Why? I guess my question is why? Like what is the reason? There isn't one. If you're watching this and or hearing this and you go, "Well, I would never do that." Talk to your friends. Hold your buddies accountable. What are they up to? What are they doing? How do they talk about women? Stand up to them, correct them. If you see your friend catcall, tell them to cut it out. If you see your friend like sharing pictures of a girlfriend or talking about a girlfriend in a disrespectful way, tell them to stop. Like that's on, you're in that circle. She didn't know, but you fucking did. And that's on you.
Yeah, and I also think that the way that people receive information is very telling about them, right? So like, let's say you do meet somebody, you do like them, and you get to a point where you share them with them what happened, how they react to the information you're giving them will hopefully be revealing, right? So if the reaction is like, oh, that's not that big of a deal, that's not a safe person.
Do not,
you know,
we cut that off.
Like you want to make sure that like when you share this with somebody that they understand the significance of it, they understand the trauma that came along with it, they understand that you're still in your healing process. And so I think that like it can feel really scary that like, who can I trust? Like, and ultimately, obviously we don't know because people surprise us all of the time.
Yeah.
But there is some guidelines. And I think that how the person handles the information when you give it to them is going to tell you a lot. And so really make sure that that person is on your level with when you share it, and like that they get it, that they're respectful, that maybe, you know, the first few times that you are intimate with them, it's in your space. You know, where like you're controlling the environment. You take their phone from them, and like, you know, like you might need to do need to do some stuff, but that's fine. You know, and like you want a partner that would offer you their phone. Do you know what I mean? Like that will understand that will be looking out for you, looking out for ways to make you more comfortable, to make you feel safe after what you've been through, versus somebody who either maybe is like, oh no, sorry, and then like never brings it up again, or never, like
minimizes
it. This is going to be an ongoing conversation with whoever you date next, and they have to be okay with that, and they should also welcome it and potentially initiate those conversations.
Just between